Can the Chicago Bulls get a win and stop the streak of the Cleveland Cavaliers? That's the question ahead of the Chicago Bulls as they take on the Cleveland Cavaliers in their first NBA Cup game tonight. We're going to talk about it all and more, but you know what we got to do first? We got to play that intro.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And no, Matthew, I was not late because I was eating. I actually had to get the kids together. Being a father does come first. I had to get the kids some food. So that's why I'm a little bit late to the stream. But nonetheless, we are here. Never, you know what? I'm not late. Y'all were just early. Despite what the stream was scheduled at, y'all were early. But no, I appreciate you guys so much, man. The Bulls have a very important game in front of them, right? This is the game where the Bulls are facing the 13-0 Cleveland Cavaliers. And can the Bulls be the streak stoppers today? That's the question. Now, I know a lot of people have confidence in regards to the Bulls based on how they played against the Cavs in the last game. And I understand that. The Bulls got to be on their P's and Q's. We have Jalen Smith back for this team to add a little bit more depth, especially at that big spot for the Cleveland Cavaliers team. But the Bulls need to be locked in. They have to limit the turnovers against the Cavs today. That was one of the biggest things that really hurt the Bulls in that last game was the amount of turnovers. If the Bulls can limit turnovers, they statistically, based off what we know, based off the actual data, they can be in just about any game if they can limit those turnovers. That's going to be huge for this team. They have to limit those turnovers today, and we have to play and execute as a team. If we can do that, we'll see what happens with it. We'll see what happens with it. So I really hope that the Bulls are very locked in for this game. They got to see the Cleveland Cavaliers and what they were able to do in the last game, so it's a familiar opponent at this point. And the Bulls just got to be prepared. This is a Cavs team that is playing on all cylinders right now on both sides of the ball. They compete. They're a two-way team. They're not a team that just is all offense or just defense. This is a deep team in the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you have to be prepared and on your P's and Q's. If you're not ready to execute, the Cavs will beat you. They will expose you. And so the Bulls, hopefully, and here's the thing, right? The Cleveland Cavaliers have played 13 games, I think, in like 16 days. So they've played a lot of games. And so while they are riding high right now, and it's not just that they're riding high, like this is a good basketball team in the Cleveland Cavaliers. Make no mistake about it. The Bulls have to be prepared. If they're not prepared, it's not going to go down. The coaching staff has to have these guys locked in. They got to be prepared for the runs. The Cavs are going to go on runs in this game. Donovan Mitchell could get hot, right? Donovan Mitchell averaging 29 points against the Chicago Bulls for his career. You got to be prepared tonight. And we're going to need the offense and defensive balance for this team. I do think that the Bulls can get an upset in this game. I'm not necessarily calling for it. I'm not predicting it, but it's a possibility. But the Bulls got to narrow that margin of error for themselves by getting in there and getting shit done. And if they don't do it, it's going to be ugly. It is going to be ugly if they don't do it. So that's what you really hope for this team. If they can stay locked in, if they can stay engaged, things will hopefully go their way. And we'll see. We'll see what they can do, man. I got some faith in this team. We're going to need Lonzo Ball. We're going to need all these guys to really be locked in. We're going to need them. And, Patrick Williams, who's played some really good defense for the Bulls, if he can be aggressive as well to start off this game, and aggressive P. Will to start the game really does make a big difference for this Bulls team. He does make a difference. And so you got to hope that he's going to be locked in and ready to go himself, because if he's not to say that, who's this? Shout out to C-Dub. Hold on. What's going on, Dub?
Ding dong.
Hey, fella, how you doing, man?
What's up, big dog? How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know what? And this may come back, and I'm not saying that I'm overly confident in the sense where I'm just like, oh, the Bulls are absolutely getting this dub. But I have a good feeling coming into this game, C-Dub. How you feeling?
Absolutely. I'm definitely having a good feeling in this game. I seen the injury report earlier today, and he's out now. I was just about to talk about Mobley. And I'm going to look at the last game we played them, and we played them really, really tough. Well, we lost in with 6 points. We dominated in most categories. When you talk about free throw percentage, when you talk about rebounds, the assist was even. Uh, they killed us in steals, but it was just turnovers. And it's always going to be the formula with this team. If they get a gang of turnovers, it's going to be tough for the Bulls to win. But take this, for instance. We still had a chance to win with 20 turnovers in a game.
Yeah.
I think this young team is getting confident. Um, Zach LaVine is playing on another level. I think I've never seen him play this way in at least the last 2 to 3 games. Patrick Williams, if you can believe it, he's grown a spine. I think he's in double figures the last 4 or 5. Um, I feel real good about this game. And I'm gonna call it. I'm a homer of the homers drip. I think we could win this game.
Yeah, we can win this game, right? But the Bulls, like we said before, and I love that you point out the fact that we did have over those 20 turnovers. They got 32 points off turnovers, and we were still in that game down the stretch of the game. It really just comes down to if the Bulls can limit turnovers, they can be in just about any game via what we've seen so far. The data that we have so far says if you can limit those turnovers, you can be in any game. That's a big thing for this team, bro.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just simple math at this point, and I hate to go with basketball all the time, but it's just simple as that. But it's a young team that we have over here, a young, exciting team. I think there's some boxes we can check with this team already through these games. I think they're a better team than the last couple of years that we had. They're a more exciting team than the last couple of years that we have. Zach LaVine is a better player than a lot of us thought that he was or was not. He still has his imperfection, but every basketball player in the world is imperfect. Uh, Patrick Williams, he may not be the Kawhi Leonard comparisons to that, but he's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good player. And Kobe White is just an awesome offensive player. He needs to learn how to run a fast break. I'm just sick of these fast breaks with Kobe White. Pass the ball. But yeah, this team is a very exciting, I'll say good team.
Yeah, I don't know. I get that you said that they're a better team. I don't necessarily feel that way. I do think they're a better offense, but they've gotten much worse defensively. But
Absolutely.
what we've seen with this team is that if they have nights where they get hot, well, when they have nights where they get hot from three, their offense is so good that it can withstand just about anything. So they just got to stay locked in that sense. And if they can, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like it comes down to this with the Bulls. Can they make enough defensive plays down the stretch, right? They don't have to be a great defensive team throughout the whole game, but if their offense is on and they limit those turnovers, they have enough offense. It's like the opposite of the Chicago Bears. They just need to step up with enough defensively and they could be in some games, right?
Yes, absolutely. And look at the moves that Donovan has made at the end of games. The most controversial is probably Ayo being in at the last couple of minutes. That's obviously a move towards being better defensively in closing out games, and I think that is at his work. Now, there's some people that is mad at that. They feel that Josh Giddey should be in at the last few minutes of the game, but I just think that it's a good move from Billy Donovan. Can we give Billy Donovan a little credit? Because I just think you're better defensively out there with Ayo, and I think that at this point, Josh Giddey is not that good. You can't count on him to be there defensively at the end of games. You cannot. To win a game, you just cannot. And sometimes in this season, not to be overly critical of Josh Giddey, he's making poor mistakes with the basketball.
This is facts.
In the later parts of the game. So that also could add to that as well. So.
And for the people that have been asking, why isn't Josh Giddey closing games, right? And this isn't to say that this isn't to have the conversation should he or not. This is just having a conversation on why he isn't closing games. Defensive liability is one. Turnovers are two. And I know Josh Giddey fans are going to say, but Haize, Kobe White turns the ball over too. Yeah, but guess what? Josh Giddey is not the isolation scorer that Kobe White is either. He's not getting to the free throw line like Kobe White is. So it's those combination of things. When you have a better player that's better defensively in Ayo Dosunmu, and you have a player that's better offensively in Kobe White, That's why he's not in those closing lineups of close games yet, right?
Yes.
Now, I have made the case myself before that there's something to be said of having Ayo and Josh Giddey on the court together to close games. And I think it really comes down to what you're doing. If you're playing with the lead, Ayo's going to be in that game and Kobe's going to be in that game. If you're playing from behind, if you're playing from behind, it's going to be Ayo and Kobe in that game because you have the defense and offensive scoring. If you're playing with the lead, which the Bulls haven't done a lot yet in a close game, I think there's something to be said about Josh Giddey and Ayo being out there together because of Josh Giddey's ability to get other players involved in the game. What do you think about that,
I
C-Dub?
think that's absolutely perfect. That's perfect logic to go with, and I think that's the logic that the Chicago Bulls maybe I ain't gonna say listening to you, but they should listen to you, that they should go with. Josh Giddey needs to look in the mirror, bro. Like that's the reason that the Thunder, that it didn't work out with that talented young team over there. I think it was more defensively over there. I don't know about because he didn't do much ball handling when you got a guy like Shea on the team and Jalen Williams. But he has to look in himself in the mirror and try to play better defensively. And then it won't be an argument if he should be in at the end of the game because he does affect the game throughout the game with his great passing. He can get to the basket. And okay, he's been better shooting the three this year compared to last year as well. So it's entirely up to him. But I agree with Billy with bringing Ayo in. I just agree with him.
Yeah, I mean, and while Ayo's offense hasn't been much in the clutch yet, like that defensive versatility that he has, keep in mind, teams are trying to force switches late in games, especially close games, and Ayo can guard three positions very well. The 1, 2, and the 3. He can guard all three of those positions. So either way, I think Ayo has earned the right at this point to where he's going to be in a closing lineup regardless. His offense is starting to come around. It really comes down to, depending on what you need, is it going to be Kobe? Is it going to be Giddey? Because it's going to be Levine at this point in time. It's going to be Vooch in this point in time.
Yes.
So it really comes down to that. And while I've seen some people say, well, let's do a 4-guard lineup. Let's have Giddey, Kobe, Ayo, and Zach. And I'm just like, yeah, but if you're facing off a team with any type of size, that's barbecue chicken.
All day.
Yeah,
All day, every day. I got to send some respect to Vooch, man. Before
I
the
asked you the
game,
question the other day in our chat. Like,
I gotta say, he showed me competitive, a competitive streak, especially last game. Who did they play last game? It was a big out there. He had two bigs.
talking about the Cavs? Oh no. Who did we play last?
The Knicks.
The Knicks. Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns.
Yes, Karl Anthony Towns was totally destroying Vooch. And usually in past 2 to 3 years, he'll kind of shrink and fold and completely get out his game. This guy kept competing. I was like, who is this guy right here? Making moves up and under moves. That ain't much to do that to Karl Anthony Towns. But he kept competing. I have to give him props on his competitive edge this season. It has been amazing, bro. It's been amazing to watch.
And it makes a lot of sense when you look at the fact that Vooch is just able to get to his spots more naturally now. Like when he was playing with DeMar DeRozan, him and DeMar like to start their offense. I've shown it on the show before. Like their shot charts, you look at where they start their offense is in the same spot. And so it was very difficult for that to overcome. Now, when Lonzo was here and healthy, he helped that a little bit with his ability to stretch the floor and pass. But like you could see how the last couple of years have taken away from Vooch getting in rhythm. Now you're seeing Vooch be able to get in more rhythm. And then when he does go out to the 3 and start shooting in 3, he's hitting at a better clip because he's been able to more naturally get in his own rhythm. So that's a huge part of it.
Man, this guy's probably shooting over 50% from 3. I think something like that is close to 50%. What can I say? And you are absolutely right. The floor spacing on the floor. That's why you see this from Zach LaVine. Like you were just saying. That's why you see this from Vooch. They got so much space to operate. Just look, and I'll just throw it to Zach LaVine. When have you seen Zach LaVine be so calm with his pace? He know he can get to his spots. All throughout the game, he just looked like a confident, more comfortable player. And you could say the same thing about Vooch. I'm seeing things from Zach that I have not seen throughout his career, bro. It's at 44%. Well, shit, that's close to 50 to me. Shit. Yeah. I went to CPS. Go ahead.
This man said I went to CPS. Shout out to Chicago Public Schools. But yeah, Josh Giddey, and that's all Josh Giddey needs to do. Josh Giddey doesn't need, and I've said this leading into the season, Josh Giddey doesn't have to turn into Steph He just has to turn into a player where you have to respect his 3-point shot. And the one thing that I'll give up to Josh Giddey is that when teams are leaving him open now from 3, he's not hesitating. He's taking it. Now, there's been some games where he's gone bad. There's been some games where he's been very good. But that's what he has to do, because now you're forcing teams to think. They're no longer in the spot where it's like, oh, Giddey out on the perimeter, bet we can sag off of him. If a Josh Giddey that you have to respect at the 3-point line completely changes the dynamic because of his ability to drive, his ability to hit the open man. And if you have players cutting to the rim and moving off ball, it completely changes the dynamic of how much the defense has to think. So much of basketball is all you got to do is make the other team have to think. If you make it to the point where they're like, oh, we just don't have to worry about it, you make it so much difficult on yourself. And that's the credit for Josh Giddey. He's been making teams have to think this year. And if you look at how it started off in preseason at the beginning of the season, how teams were defending him to now, it's a big difference there. It's a very big difference.
And that's a great point. And you could say that about the whole Chicago Bulls basketball team, because I think everybody is shooting from 3. Everybody on the team, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why they're better offensively, and that's why Giddey has become more of a threat on the offensive end, because he's willing to take those open threes. Heck, he's willing to make a couple moves to a step back in 3. I seen one of those in the last couple games. So, yeah, he's still got a work to do, man. It's still a young guy. What is he, 21 or 22?
22 years old.
Yeah, he's getting better. He's still learning basketball, bro.
You got Vooch shooting 45% from 3. Levine shooting 43% from 3. Josh Giddey shooting 42.5% from 3. Then Jalen Smith 39 basically. Patrick Williams 38. Julian Phillips 37. Kobe White 30. Like, come on.
Yeah, everybody's shooting.
Pick
you
your
gotta
poison.
be able to shoot. You gotta be able to shoot.
Yeah.
You got to. We have are we ready to say we've modernized our offense?
Yes. The offense is modernized now. This is a modern offense. Now, I would say this, like, there's some times where this team gets caught up in, and I thought coming into the season, I kept telling people, we're playing with a high pace. We're not doing run and gun. Run and gun is kind of sloppy. A quicker pace is more controlled. There have been more times that I like to say that we've gone run and gun. We got to get that under control. Absolutely. But we've definitely a more modern offense, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Especially fast breaks. Oh, my God. Kobe White is just awful decision making in this fast break. I'm just sorry. Zach LaVine has been better in the fast break. This team is they might surprise a lot of people, man, this season. I ain't talking 40, 50 wins or something, but they gonna be kind of dangerous. You're gonna have to tie up your laces when you come and have to play the Chicago Bulls. You gotta tie them up, bro.
And that's what we're seeing. Like that, I think that's honestly what we did to the Knicks. And I even think the first game against the Cavs, that's what we did as well. We tired them out, right? Yes. And that is an advantage. Like that's why when you saw in training camp Billy Donovan say that he wants this team to be the best conditioned team in the league, because that is a competitive advantage. When you're able to move at the pace that the Bulls are moving at, and we're going 10 deep into the rotation consistently, like teams, like especially if you're an 8-man, 9-man rotation, they're looking at that like, damn, we tired. Like these motherfuckers is running, bro. And I know you said it earlier, the one thing that we got to also give credit for, with how fast the Bulls have the quickest pace in the league, we got to talk about, we just last season talked about how old Vooch looked.
Yes, absolutely.
He has found a way to adapt to the pace that this team has worked, to where, not to say that it's always perfect, but there haven't been a lot of times where I'm just like, oh, Vooch can't keep up with this pace. Vooch is keeping up.
Yes, he is. And I know I was on a show with you early in the season. I was like, man, this is not a pace conducive to a guy like Nick Vooch. He cannot keep up with this pace, but I call every game, Drip. And I've never said, like, Vooch, get up the floor, Vooch. I'm like, Vooch is there, bro. He's where you need him to be. He's taking shots. He's not hesitating to attack a smaller guy. He's making moves against a perceived bigger, better player. This guy is being an all-around competitor on a basketball court, and that's all I've been asking for the last couple years before this season, because I seen him in Orlando. I seen what he did to Paul Gasol in Chicago. I seen. So where the hell did it go? But now I just got to give him his props right now. I just got to, bro.
I'm sure his wife is appreciating the increased stamina as well.
He's 6'10". Paul, shit, he's 6'10".
He probably come home from a game. She's like, "How much more energy you got?"
On the real. And the way he feeling, he probably could go another hour or something.
Listen,
The way
and
he
that's the
playing.
thing. That's the thing too. Vooch is playing with a level of confidence that, like, we haven't seen the Vooch thrust yet. I listen. It's a thing. It happens. It happens about 4 or 5 times a season. Vooch dunks on somebody and literally thrust on him, bro. It's like at this point, it's like you got. I can't wait to say you've been Vooch, but Vooch is playing with a level of confidence. You see, like, it's a poise from Vooch. It's almost a level of, like, he just understands his role, I think,
Yes.
better at any other point, and he's playing into that amazingly well. And it's something to be said about what this team is when everybody's buying into their roles. This is a special team, a very special team.
Hey, I would say this, and this coming from me, Drip. It's early. What we in? A 12th game?
This is 13th tonight.
13th today. He's averaging 21, 60% from the field, 10 rebounds, 45% from three. He's an all-star.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are all-star numbers. I don't know if he's going to be an all-star, but those are definitely all-star numbers for sure.
All-star numbers for sure. This is an amazing bounce back season for Vooch. It's just amazing.
Yep. And yeah, let's hope that we take advantage of that trade value is all I can say.
I feel you. I feel you. Me too. If you can do it, get us something good, go ahead. But he's playing great. Now, Zach, we could talk about that differently. You know what I'm saying? Like Zach on a different level right now. Y'all have made him mad.
I've said this before, and I've said it a lot this season. I don't think I've ever seen Zach LaVine this consistently locked in defensively. I just don't know if I've ever seen it. Like, you're talking about, he guarded Donovan Mitchell really well. When Zach got switched on Donovan, there was because they kept throwing different defenders at it. But when Zach was 100% on Donovan Mitchell went 3 of 11. Then you look at Jalen Brunson. Honestly, like, Patrick Williams guarded him well on those last 2 possessions, but they should not have taken Zach LaVine off of Jalen. I don't know if I've ever said that before in my life, to say, hey, why'd you take Zach LaVine off somebody that was hot?
Nobody said that ever. He's on a different stratosphere right now. He's motivated and he feels smited by everybody. Like, you're not a winning player. That's his reputation right now.
Yeah.
He's not a winning player. He's crazy athletic, and he's just a scorer. This guy is making. Did you see that pass to Vooch underneath the basket?
Hell, the Vooch to Modest Bucilis to Julian Phillips,
bro. This guy is playing basketball. He's not scoring. He's not like being lackadaisical on D. He's not Luka Doncic. He's not Luka Doncic.
Bro,
Luka is horrible.
We gotta talk about Luka Doncic, bro. Like,
bro, come on.
Hey,
how long?
I know that they say Luka always comes in and he's kind of out of shape to start the season. But I'm telling you what, when you look at 39-year-old LeBron James and 26, 27-year-old Luka Doncic, you're just like, who's closer to 40 here?
Bro, he 25, Drip. Did you see the last play of the game, Drip? You see where he was standing against the Utah Jazz? He was by the free throw line, and this guy was in the dunker spot next to the rim. And Utah Jazz could have alley-ooped the ball at any time to get the go ahead basket, but they let the time draw. I don't know what Luka doing on defense, bro. I don't think he knows. But Zach, fuck Luka. Zach, is playing basketball.
Listen, I'm ready. No, I'm sorry. I know this isn't NBA Central, but we got to talk about this real quick. Yeah. If Luka Doncic was black, people would be killing him for his defense.
Thank you, sir.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm sorry. Listen. I know not everybody wants to hear that in a basketball conversation. If Luka Doncic was black, people would absolutely be killing Luka. Luka gets the buffer, the complexion buffer.
Yes,
he just does,
bro. Think about what they said about Harden when he was averaging 37 and all those big years, the MVP year and stuff like that. Luka Doncic might be one of the worst defenders in the league, bro. He can't guard on the perimeter. He can do all the good fancy. He can rebound. He can
do a lot great on the basketball court. But right now, I'm telling you right now, if I'm a scorer out on the perimeter and they switch and I get switched on Luka Doncic, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it.
Barbecue chicken, Chief. Barbecue chicken. And just to think. No. This is the question I want to ask you, Drip. Which one more shines the most? his offensive game, which is terrific, elite, everything that's included into that, or his defense, how bad it is. Which one shines the most? Which one is more
right now,
glaring?
this point in the season,
Yes.
Luka's defense being bad is speaking a lot more loudly than his offense. And this is the first. Now, granted, this is the first season that you can say that because his offense has always been so good.
Yes.
But this year, Luka looks like I don't know what he was doing this offseason. I don't know, the motherfucker was eating too much schnitzel. I don't know what he was doing. But Luka is bad right now, bro.
And then he cries over every.
He's been doing that for years, but like I tell you what, there's a lot of time to turn it around. If I had to bet, I still think he's going to turn it around before the end of the season. But I'm telling you right now, if I'm a coach, I'm scheming to where my best perimeter player, I'm going to make sure somehow to force a switch to Luka to get on them.
Oh, if they smart in any type of professional coach, they would do that. Luka Doncic, they always say this every starts of every year. He's going to work himself into shape. He's going to work himself into this.
To his credit, he's done it every year.
He's done it, but is that a good thing?
No, you should come in. You should, but I mean, the same thing can be said about Jokic. The same thing's been said towards the end of his career. The same thing could be said about Scottie Pippen at times. Like, there's been a lot of players that as they get, but the problem is he's 25. We're talking about the conversation that we usually have with players when they're 30, 32. He's 25 years old. 25. We shouldn't be having this conversation yet.
Bro, and then what makes it bad is what you said earlier. LeBron is 39. He looks like he's in better shape than everybody else in the league, bro. This man is a millionaire, Luka. I think he needs to take some cues from LeBron and invest more in his body, bro.
You know what it is? And Luka's always going to be paired to Dirk Nowitzki. You know why Dirk was always in shape and always ready to go? Because he married a black woman.
You better know it, bro.
I'm just saying. There's some correlation to that. It's all I'm saying.
Is it any? I don't know if it's any sisters in Slovenia though. Is it?
I'm sure we're all over the place.
Yeah. We all okay? It might be something. You got to look in the cut.
I'm sure. All right, C-Dub, before we get out of here, man, what's your confidence level right now coming into it?
Be easy. I mean, take it easy. I'm gonna say a 7. Seeing the way that they played them last game, I think we in Cleveland. We in Cleveland, correct?
Yeah, we're in Cleveland. Yeah.
I'll take that down to it. No, I'm gonna keep it at 7 because Evan Mobley is a different player. I think he's the difference maker for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he's out. I think this probably when their streak ends today. I think the streak ends.
It's time to end the streak. That's it. It's time to end the streak. I need to be petty. It's time to end the streak. Cleveland is a terrible city with terrible people. If you are from the city of Cleveland, fuck you and your mama. So that's what I got. If you're a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, if you're from the city of Cleveland, you're not a Cavs fan, I ain't got no beef with you. But if you're from the city of Cleveland and you a Cavs fan, I'm sorry, your mama raised the hoe tonight. That's all I got to say. Tonight, just tonight. When the game's over with, it's different. You all good. But tonight, your mama raised up.
I don't even think they're making the Eastern Conference Finals. But we'll talk about that later.
Listen, all I said, and this is why I already hated Cleveland, but it's even more now because literally all I said is, hey, the Cleveland Cavaliers are the best two-way team in the league right now, but I got to see it sustain before I'm ready to say that they're the contenders in the Eastern Conference. All Cleveland Cavaliers, oh my God, what do you mean we're not contenders? We're 11-0. We're 12-0. What do you mean? We're better than y'all. It's like, hey, listen, see, this is why I know you talk about CBS. Cleveland public schools is stupid. You're stupid. You're dumb. If you go to public school in Cleveland, Ohio, you're a fucking idiot. And I stand on that.
Oh, man. That was great. That was great, Joe. But for real, though. Forget Cleveland, though.
Yeah, like, come on, bro. Like you mean it's y'all? The only reason y'all downtown actually looks like a downtown now is because when LeBron played in Cleveland. Before LeBron played in Cleveland's downtown. Literally, there's still horses riding around that motherfucker. You can walk around downtown Cleveland and step in horse shit. And hey,
I heard the Cleveland downtown area look like the Austin area of Chicago. That's what I heard it looked like.
Oh, worse than that, bro. Worse than that. If you take the worst areas of Detroit, right, and you just clean up the houses a little bit, that's the best areas of Cleveland.
Not just clean the houses.
Just a little bit.
This man is crazy. Little Windex.
Go
A little
Windex, brother.
sweep,
Shine it up a little bit.
a little sweep it in the corner.
It's still shit, but it's like it's polished shit. That's what it is.
This guy
Like I said, Cleveland is the armpit of the Midwest. Detroit is the booty hole. That's what it is, bro.
Oh, shit. This dude goated, bro.
So, it is what it is there, man. All right. We appreciate you coming through, C-Dub, man. Y'all, make sure y'all stay in tune with us, man. Y'all go check out C-Dub over at Shy Bulls Podcast with the Cognac Boys. He's going to be live calling the game. The best live caller in the business. Don't let nobody tell you different. Y'all go support him. You can follow us at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. We out this mug. Peace, y'all.